Hello, Darren the Magic Ghostbuster here, and this is a little bit of an update to my HasLab Ecto-1 review. So in my original review slash unboxing, we looked at the standard edition. Well, the deluxe one has finally arrived. So I'm going to take a little look at that. So I may repeat a few things if you watched the earlier review, but let's get stuck in. So, first thing that I think needs mentioning is the packaging. They do a wonderful job packaging this stuff. Double boxed with corner protectors, so you've got no worries of your actual proper box getting damaged. Some people don't care about the box. To some people it is just a box, goes in the bin. To others, it's part of the collector's item, it's part of the product, and they want to keep it. Some even display it. And I must say, they've done a really nice job with this box. The previous two HasLabs, the Trap, the Proton pack, have had boxes that have sort of resembled like a metal case to hold those products in. With this, they've done like a tool chest, and they've done a really nice job. Now, if you got the standard edition, you got the tool chest in grey. If you bought the deluxe one, you got the same tool chest box but with the added GB2 part on, which is red. Now, if you're a really fussy collector like me and want different things, the slip cover around the first one shows the Ecto-1, the slip cover around the deluxe does show the Ecto-1A, so there is a slight packaging difference there as well between the two. Inside, it's all really well packaged. Obviously, a lot of it is contained in plastic bubble. Yeah, that's probably the word, the plastic bubbles. And yeah, really well protected. So let's just have a quick look at the figures from the standard edition, which you also get in the deluxe. So first up, you've got Slimer, and this could be one of the best Slimer figures ever made. A really good likeness of Slimer. Comes with a little stand as well that's a translucent colour that kind of resembles a dripping slime effect, which I think is a nice little touch. It just adds to it just to make him look like he's floating a bit better rather than just being on like a generic, you know, straight plastic stand. Now, if I was going to be absolutely nitpicky, it would have been nice if he just had a glossy finish to him, because he is quite matte in finish and doesn't really feel slimy, if that makes sense. But the likeness on it is just outstanding, and yeah, I can't think of a better Slimer figure we've had in this sort of scale. I guess the closest would have been NECA way back in the day, but I think they've topped it here. Next up, we have the Library Ghost, and this is the first time we've had a proper figure of the Library Ghost in her classic grey lady type design. All the previous ones have been in a scary form, unless you include the Funko Mini Mysteries. They did do a version of her in those, but for proper figures, this is the first time. Matty Collector was going to do one. There was a prototype of that floating around a few years ago. I haven't seen the picture of that for a long time, but never got released. And again, a really nice figure of her. I can't believe it took this long to get a figure of the Grey Lady. It's absolutely crazy. Now, next up, we have Lewis Tully in his GB2 jumpsuit. And so this figure originally was basically only going to be included if the Ecto-1 was funded within 2 weeks, and it wasn't. They called it 2 weeks to Tully. I have a flyer and a business card they handed out at, it might have been a Comic-Con or Ghostbusters Day. No, I don't think it was Ghostbusters Day, because I think they teased what it was at Ghostbusters Day and they never revealed it, so it must have been Comic-Con. But yeah, the 2 weeks to Tully thing, it never got funded in 2 weeks. And it's funny because collectors have wanted a 6-inch scale Ecto-1 for a long time, probably since the Matty Collector stuff. And Matty Collector was going to do one. They did their own crowdfunding thing. Didn't really succeed. It was a bit of a disaster. You know, that's its whole video really, but I think the reason they failed is I think Matty Collector was coming to an end. I think people lost faith in Matty Collector. They'd done quite a few things wrong. The yellow in Stay Puft, the non-holographic hoverboard, you know, and their marketing behind it was basically a cardboard standy version of it, and they actually used It Really Rolls as a one of their major selling points. It was a bit ridiculous if you think about it, but it didn't succeed, and it just seems crazy to me that we've had so many different Ghostbusters figure lines now, but no Ecto-1 to sit them in, which is absolutely crazy. But anyway, I've gone completely off track. It surprises me it didn't fund that quick, and to be fair, it didn't actually do as well as perhaps you would have thought compared to the 2 in the box and the Proton pack. And I think maybe the majority of the Ghostbusters fan base does want props. A lot of us are cosplayers, and I think with the props you get 2 different types of people. You get the collectors who just want it as a collectible, whether it's to display, keep in the box, to resell, you know, whatever. But with the props you also get the cosplayers who want to wear it out, to use it, to mod it and that sort of stuff. And I think that's probably why those succeed a bit more, maybe, because I just think you're widening the type of person that wants that sort of thing. So I think that's why it didn't fund, but I think Hasbro realised it was struggling a little bit, and they just said, we're including Tully, whatever. And I'm surprised they included him in the base version, because that's quite Ghostbusters 1 themed, whereas the Deluxe is Ghostbusters 2 themed. But the figure itself is a brilliant figure. It is one of the best Louis Tully figures I have seen. It's a brilliant likeness, and one of the best Ghostbusters figures in terms of likeness and everything, really. I think they've done a fantastic job of this Louis Tully figure, a brilliant job. Now, one thing I said in my earlier video was the Proton stream, I was a little worried they would sag over time, because they are quite soft plastic, and we've seen that happen with Diamond Select stuff in the past, and I've had mine out on display about a week and it's already sagged. So I think you can probably avoid this by sort of leaning the stream up against the Ghost, but to have it just in the air, not shooting anything specific, it's just going to sag over time, which is a shame. Now on to the car itself, and it is a really nice representation of Ecto-1. It looks absolutely stunning out of the box, especially once you start adding all the little bits onto the roof rack. Now there are a couple of minor criticisms. The stickers is the main bugbear that people have with this. The tiny little stickers that go on the roof rack really should have been paint apps for something of this caliber. Basically, this isn't a cheap toy. It's an expensive toy. Now, of course, some stickers had to be done because to make it change from Ecto-1 to Ecto-1A, you just couldn't void stickers altogether. You're going to have to change the door stickers and so on. But some of those roof rack stickers definitely could have been done already. The problem as well is they're actually really good quality stickers. They're nice thick stickers, which is good for like the flat surface stuff. It's actually really bad for the rounded surface stuff, and a lot of people have had the smaller stickers peeling up. Now I have heard there's a way of avoiding this by heating it up as you apply the stickers with a hairdryer. I tried this and some of the stickers have stayed put, to be fair, but a couple of the smaller ones have started to lift slightly. The other thing, which is stickers related as well, is the vents. Now Ecto-1A doesn't have the vents on the hood or the back door. Ecto-1 does, so they've done stickers with that as well. And I do think the stickers look better than I expected. In all fairness, I thought they were going to look terrible, but they don't actually look that bad. But I also think for something, again, of this expense, they should have been, you know, still stickers, but they should have been properly 3D printed, or whatever you call them, stickers. I know Mike Lane Mods has done some. That's somebody who does loads of mods for the Build and Ecto-1 Eagle Moss Hero Collector, and I'm sure he does mods for loads of other stuff. He's doing some. I don't think I'm going to bother with them. Like I said, I'm actually not that fussed. I do think the stickers do look better than I expected, but I do think as well it should have been proper vents on it. I think, you know, I know some people have said, oh, maybe they should have added a new hood and door to change. Maybe they could have done, but I guess it would have took up more room in the packaging. But I just think 3D stickers would have made more sense, personally. So like we said, the Ecto-1 itself is a really nice size, fits all your figures in there. You've got the gurney to hold the Proton packs. I didn't actually think it would fit very well with the Proton packs, but you can actually get it in there. The wands do stick up a little bit too much to make it nice and smooth, but they do go in, no problem. Now, I think the thing that everyone gets most excited about with this is the lights, and the lights are absolutely stunning on this, and that's what really just makes this so good. And how I love they've done these lights is the way they've done the spinning effect. So each like light is like, you know, a few different LEDs that rotate round. So on the original car, obviously the lights rotate, and they replicated this perfectly on the Blitzway Ecto and the Eagle Moss, or Hero Collector, or Fan Home now, Ecto-1. Now the downside to that was the noise. Those spun were very accurate to how they should have been, but they were just so noisy. There's no noise from this at all. And I think they've done an absolutely fantastic job with the lights on this. Now on to the Ecto-1A. So you get all your extra bits in the other box. You've got the roof rack, you've got loads of other little bits to add to the roof rack. You've got to change the bumper, little light on the front, a few different things. And of course you get the Ghostbusters in there. Charcoal grey suits. We'll get onto those in a second, but I think they are the real letdown of this set, those figures, sadly. But the Ecto-1A, so the roof actually just comes off quite easily. I didn't realise how easy it come off in my original review, because I didn't really attempt to pull it off. I gave it a kind of slight nudge and nothing happened, but it does just pull off very easily. Now, a lot more sticker heavy, this one, obviously with the caution striping and all that sort of stuff. Now, one thing I did find, there's a couple of parts on this where you plug a couple of holes and stickers go over the top, and the plugs don't sit flush on mine, so that was a slight issue. But now, I'm not a fan of stickers. Like I said earlier, you can't avoid stickers on these parts simply because you can't change it back, you know, without doing stickers. But I'm not a fan of doing stickers. I hate doing stickers. I'm terrible at doing stickers. How I've done it was I used tweezers and really took my time, and I think I've done an okay job. Probably could have done a little bit better, but yeah, not too bad. Also, when you're doing your stickers, don't forget to put some of the caution striping on the upper door like I did. Now, the Ecto-1A is the one that got me the most excited, I think, from this set, because we've had so many versions of Ecto-1, not many 1As. We've had quite a few mini ones from Johnny Lightning. They've done quite a few different slight variants of the 1A. I think Hot Wheels did a small one, then they did their elite versions of the 1A, and we've had Playmobil. But other than that, we've not really had much love for the 1A. And obviously, the 1A has so many different lights on it, so when this is going, it looks incredible. Absolutely stunning. Now, I do have an issue with my deluxe version. So there's two ways to power this. Batteries, 3 AA's, and when you do this, it will the lights will stay on for, I haven't timed it, 30 seconds, a minute, I'm not really sure. And you can go through all the different sounds and all that. Or you can power it with USB-C. Now, I do think it's a little bit lazy they didn't give us a USB cable. They could have done that. How much is a USB cable to have thrown in? And with USB, you can keep the lights on as long as you want. They'll keep going, which is probably the way forward for a lot of people. Now, where I have in mind set up, which is sort of back here behind me, oh, the Christmas tree and all that's in the way at the moment, I don't really have access to USB. So I am going to be doing batteries. And my standard Ecto-1, unscrewed it, batteries went in fine. This deluxe one, the screw is just knackered and just keep turning, does not come out. You can't even tighten it. I did try turning it the other way and it doesn't tighten. So I've emailed Hasbro and we shall see what's happened there. But it does power with USB-C, but you know, I've bought it, it should do what, you know, what it's advertised to do. So if I have to return it and get a replacement, it's going to be annoying, but it's the way it's going to have to be. Now, the sounds and the lights. So there's different light formations. You can have the interior lights on, the interior lights off. Obviously, you want the roof rack going. How good does it look? It just looks stunning. Like the Ecto-1 looks brilliant, but the 1A, it's just, I can't say enough of how good the 1A, it really does look good. Sound-wise, obviously you have the siren and you can have the engine go in. There's two ways to do the engine. You can hold the button down for a little bit, and the buttons are under the bonnet, by the way, and it will, you know, tick over and then the engine will come on. Or if you only do it for like a couple of seconds, it will sort of fail, which is quite a cool little Easter egg. And talking of engines, the bonnet actually opens and you can see the engine inside, which I forgot to mention on my original review. I'm not really a car guy. The engine doesn't actually bother me. I'm probably never going to open it again. And, you know, if that didn't open, or you opened it and there was nothing there, or it was a battery compartment, wouldn't actually have bothered me at all. But I know there are people out there who love their engines, so I'm sure some of you will appreciate that. So now on to the GB2 figures, and this is what really lets the set down, I think. So, and it's a shame because the first three figures were so good, but these are just, I can only define as an epic fail, which is really sad, because, you know, I want to like them, but the colour of the suits is just wrong. Like, when we first saw the pictures of these in hand, they looked very blue. You know, and a few people commented that they looked blue. I thought, oh, maybe it's just the camera and the lighting and all that, 'cause sometimes the lighting does change the colour a little bit. But these are definitely navy blue. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, that's not a mistake that should be happening now. You know, there are some promo photos where the suits do look a bit like blue. But, you know, there's so much information out there to show that they are grey. I mean, you know, there's a fan who has one in his collection. So, yeah, it is a shame on the suit colour, you know, and we've had a couple of different versions of the charcoal grey suits now from, we had Matty Collector did a box set, Diamond Select did their ones, and then, what other ones did we had? Titan versions, which was like mystery minifigures. Can't remember if Minimate's done them or not, but they've all been the proper colour, and I don't know why Hasbro have failed at that. It's a real shame. I feel like they should have included Santa hats as well, but, you know, that's only a minor criticism. The other thing is the likenesses. The likenesses on these are just horrible. Like, you know, they made a big thing about doing new sculpts, and I just feel like maybe they should have just kept them the same. I mean, we start with Ernie Hudson. Winston looks nothing like him, especially nothing like his GB2 look. Yeah, really bad. I don't think Ray looks anything like Dan Aykroyd. Bill Murray, I think you can tell looks like Bill Murray, but just, again, I just don't think it's a great likeness. And Egon, I've seen a few people say, oh, they've captured his little smirk very well, which they have, but it's just, I still think the likeness is off. And I think it's a real shame, and it does actually make me worry a little bit about the upcoming box set of the, I can't remember what they were, Rooftop Battle, I think they were calling it, so, of the 4 Ghostbusters, and yeah, hopefully they've got better sculpts, but I can see a lot of people being disappointed in those. It's a shame. So, final thoughts. Overall, this is a really great set, especially if you've got the deluxe version. The only real downside is, I think, some of the stickers should have been paint apps, and those GB2 figures, I just think, are just very poor. Other than that, the cars themselves are absolutely fantastic, and the other 3 figures, absolutely fantastic as well. Now, obviously, some people will prefer the Ecto-1, some people prefer the 1A, some people want both, so we all have different opinions on that, but either way, you've got yourself a really great car there. And like I said, my only criticisms really are nitpicks. Now, some people go, oh, well, it's only a toy, you shouldn't nitpick it. Yes, it is a toy, but it isn't sold really at kids to play with. It's really sold at people like me, collectors, to display. And if we're going to actually look at it as a toy, as a play with toy, I actually think it would actually score a bit lower, because some of the bits, like some of the wires, some of the antennas and all that, although they sit in, I don't actually think they're massively secure. If you were to play with this and ride it around the room and all that, I actually think a few of those bits would actually pop out. So I think if you were going to review it as an actual toy, I actually think it'd lose a point. But for people like me, for displaying it, I think it's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, when you've got those lights going, I'm going to have to figure out a way of getting USB over to where I've got it displayed, because I'd love to have them going all the time. But yeah, like I said, really, it's just those GB2 figures. The other figures are perfect. But yeah, I don't think there's much more I can say about it really. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope if you managed to get one, I hope you are enjoying it too. Let me know your thoughts on it, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, keep on busting.
Want to give a big shout out to the Magic Ghostbuster. Hey Darren, very, very impressive.